Hello, hello, and welcome, my Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. And welcome to your work, career, and vocation reading for February and March 2021. I am your reader, Angelo, Lyons, Mal, for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, Virgo Sun sign that I am, for planet second house, the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons. But you can call me Mal. Hey, my Virgos, Virgo power. Hey, this is our gig, work, career, vocation. Very happy to be doing these reads in particular. Gives me a break from all that soul contract stuff. Well, in between two people, of course, we have things we came in to do in this life, our life purpose, our life path, which we are going to be looking at in 3 levels of power with 9 cards, right? Work, career, vocation. There is a link in the description box below from Caroline Myss, PhD, Hay House author, spiritual teacher, medical intuitive, genius, in my opinion. We're using her Caroline Myss archetype deck as the first 3 cards down. And that video is about the 3 levels of power, that you can look at many different aspects of life and human experience in 3 levels, which I will explain as we go. It's just easier that way. So we are going to be looking at your 3 levels of life purpose, work, career, vocation. They have chakra correspondences. I'll explain all that as we go as well. All the decks that I read are in the description box at the bottom, so we're getting 3 of these down for the dominant archetypes in your work, career, vocation. 3 daughters of the moon to your personal experience, heart, third eye, crown, psychological experience, all that part of it, work, career, vocation, and then we'll get 3 mythic tarot for the external stuff of it, either how you appear from the outside looking in or the physical situation itself. Chakras of root, sacrum, and solar plexus. So we're getting even the vocation, that 8th chakra stuff. So it's a very holographic read. Please take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It is, after all, a general read. Both feet on the floor, if you can, Virgos that we are. I'll do the same. I've got one up on the leg of the table under here, so both feet on the floor, focus on your breath. I will do the same to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace that I can get you to align your work, career, and vocation. Let's do this. Breathe. Yeah, one more. Oh, and my phone agreed. Sorry, I thought I had that turned off. See, there's no witch quite like a busy witch, and I am indeed a busy witch. Don't we just love airplane mode? So very hopeful. Yes, indeedy do. Sorry about that. Look, I have pants on. Yay. Okay, just in case you wondered. One more time, all that breathing. Okay, here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, the ascended masters of life, path, and purpose, as well as the higher selves of all involved, perhaps my own included. For the Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, I need 3 cards to symbolize, to point to the soul powers being alchemized for the Virgo watching this video, receiving this reading, perhaps myself included again, in our work, the survival aspect, lower 3 chakras, root, sacrum, solar plexus, survival, intuition, how you pay the bills, physical power, the literal world. So what's going on in our career? Heart, third eye, crown, emotional passion, thirst, hunger, choices, spiritual inspiration, and all of that. What feeds the soul? Personal level of power, psychological power, heart, third eye, crown. What's the dominant archetype at work in our career? Perhaps what we're doing for our work to allow us to do our career, paid or unpaid. Vocation, 8th chakra, spiritual power, the symbolic level of power, the mystical, the higher self, the seat of the soul, their calling. February and March 2021. Keep in mind, these are supposed to be triggering. They're showing you the lead or the toxic, the shadow attributes that you don't want to deal with, or if you do want to deal with, you don't want to, or if you are dealing with, you don't want anybody to know about it, so that it can be alchemized into the light, from the toxic to the healthy, the lead to the gold, the shadow to the light. And you've got a very interesting combo here in the survival family, in the survival level here, your work, what you do in the world. You've got a divine family archetype of the monk nun. Okay, So we're talking about devotion here of some kind, and obviously somebody can have physical work in the world that they are severely, it's maybe a harsh word, deeply devoted to, close to the devotee archetype, but the devotee in the shadow is the fan, which is short for fanatic. You feeling it? You feel the difference there? Yeah, toxic or healthy. We'll get to that. I'll read what's written on that card. In your career, you've got the action family archetype of the advocate, those who speak for those who do not have voices. But boy, in the shadow, there can be all sorts of toxic stuff in there. We'll get to that in a minute. And the feminine family archetype of the mother. Now, this is a very strong goddess connection, even though it's not the goddess archetype, which is also in this deck. Certainly in the 8th chakra, we're looking at the higher mother, whether that's Mother Mary or Hera or, Freya, Frigga, whoever it is that your divine mothers are, whatever pantheon, or if it's just Mother God, Mother Goddess, whatever you call that, definitely in play here. So you bring these three into alignment, particularly with the mother in the 8th chakra and the monk slash nun in the physical. That's interesting. So let me read you these. This is the longest part of the reading because there's stuff that's written on the cards here. The shadow attribute of the monk nun. Negative judgment of the physical world, excess piety. It's where we get that holier than thou thing. And monks and nuns, I could see doing that. They separate themselves usually from society. A sister or a brother, if you want to go there as well, in certain traditions, spiritual religious traditions, are the ones that interact with people, right? The sisters and the brothers go out into the world, brother this, sister that. The nuns, however, at least in the way it used to be done, back in the 14th century when I was a Carmelite nun, we are looking at behind convent walls, right? Behind monastery walls. The shadow attribute, negative judgment of the physical world, excess piety. Now, piety is a grace. It's the grace of the 2nd chakra. It's learning the sacred contracts between you and another person, you and another object, right? You and money. 2nd chakra has a lot of stuff in there. So that excessive piety, that's toxic piety. The light attribute here is what you're shooting for. Selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit, and maybe the spirit of what you do for a living. This is very much physical world, lower 3 chakras, your work. Now, like I said, how many advocates, like you might be an advocate for, animals, abused animals, or the home, you know what I mean, all that kind of stuff. Usually not well-paid work, but if you have a selfless devotion here, it could be these two, you have fused them or brought them into alignment, right? The advocate in its shadow, embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. In other words, there's a shadow agenda there. The light attribute inspires you to put compassion into action. And if that action is with that nun-monk archetype, you might really be doing very holy work in this world. And that wouldn't shock me if what's sort of powering this from the 8th chakra, the mother archetype, now in its shadow, smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. Christina, bring me the axe. I think we're clear on that one. I could go further. I'm gay. I had to pass the test. I did a monologue from Mommy Dearest. No, I didn't. I'm going to scrub the floor. You've got to move the plant. The light attribute, nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy, and giving birth to life. My goodness gracious, these three line up. I won't say symmetrically, but they do certainly make sense, right? That inspiration, that calling to be mother to all, right? Or doing the work of the divine. I mean, this is very Mother Teresa. It is. It's Mother Teresa, right? The mother in the 8th chakra, the advocate speaking for those who cannot speak, usually diseased, dying babies, right? In Calcutta. And the physical work of a nun. I mean, this is Mother Teresa. It kind of is. Is she in the room? Oh my goodness gracious. She part of my pantheons of the divine. Well, they like me because I'm very equal opportunity. I honestly could have had a career as a comparative religion scholar, but boring. Would rather be doing this. I'm Leo rising. Plus, what hijinks I would get up to teaching in college. No. I sense a loss of tenure. Do you know what I'm saying? Better that I do this. Better that I do this. So that's kind of the eighth chakra of your work, career, and vocation. These are the soul archetypes in play developing for you, for us. I mean, I can see myself in that. I kind of live like a monk. I mean, I do pray all day. How do you think I pull these readings off every day and taking clients and juggling a business? Putting compassion into action. Nurturance, patience, unconditional love. So let's do heart, throat, third eye, and crown. Daughters of the moon. What's your psychological experience, right? The world behind your eyes. Your own physical power on this. Please take a nice deep breath. My goddesses of Earth and the sign of Virgo, please. 3 cards face down. One for the monk nun. Let's do that right now. Please, what's going on inside of the Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus? I'm watching this video, receiving this reading. What's going on inside of them in their work with the monk nun, in their career with the advocate, inspires them to put compassion into action, and in their vocation, which is very much feeling like where that inspiration to put compassion into action is coming from. What's going on inside of them, their experience with the mother archetype in their vocation. This really feels very nice. Well, let's see. 1, yeah, 2, yeah. Okay, so 3 fire cards. So you're a little fired up, which would make sense, particularly with what you've got in the career with the advocate and with the pressure building with the monk nun in your work, because you got the 4 flames, not that fun, happy card of the Rider-Waite deck. Here we've got conflict and an internal conflict. This might very well be either about that, negative judgment of the physical world, particularly the business world, right? About you wanting to give your selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit. Now, there is a survival archetype that everybody has. It's survival archetype, those 4 everybody has. The prostitute archetype, that feels a little like this. Like you want to selflessly give your devotion to your work here, but that there's an internal conflict inside of you. It's like a part of you wants to, and a part of you wants to, and a part of you really doesn't. Really, I'm going to say solar plexus, really check your solar plexus. If somebody asks you to do something, or if you consider doing something, this is my personal experience, but I think a lot of people agree with this if they really tune to the solar plexus voice. If you even consider it, and it goes, brr, it's a violation of your honor code, whether you know what that honor code is or not, which is why I suggest during this time of introspection we're all going through, to investigate that. What are my personal boundaries? What are the boundaries of my personal power? What will I do? What won't I do? Start with the code of chivalry if you want some bullet points to kind of look at there, right? Honor, honesty, courage, virtue. What are your virtues here? And with that monk nun, that's probably very important to you. But this conflict might also be, I could feel a monk nun saying, no, I'm not going back out into the business world, not the way that it is right now. I can't do it. I'm going to stay in my home, and I am going to pray, and I'm going to do my work from home in a holy and sacred way. But still, there's conflicts in there about that, too. Because, honestly, unless you were born or in a monastery, which I hope the Wi-Fi is good, one would hope, to watch this reading, if you're watching this from, literally a monastery or a convent, wow, they're letting you watch a witch. That's good, I guess, if they know. But chances are that's not the case. If you were supposed to, you would be. I feel that way. I've had plenty of lives in ashrams and all that stuff. I know what I know in this life, I'm guessing. But, and I feel very much like a monk, right? I live by myself in my home. I love my home. I've got my 3 boys, and I have like maybe 5 people that have been in this house since lockdown, and they all have their paperwork to show me their swabs, etc., right? I've got parents that I visit every 3 months. I'm not bringing anything up to them that won't be a blessing for the well-being of all. So I can feel that, and the conflict there. Maybe there's more you want to do because your devotion is so high. But that you go from the 4 to the 5. So this is building up. I would say directly that what's going on in the physical world is really having its effect on you psychologically. Now, 5 of flames in this deck is Pele, the volcano, something that brews for a long time, magma, under the surface, until one day Vafangul, I'm done. And you explode, right? Now, this is where you really want to keep an eye on that shadow attribute of the advocate, embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain, because that cause could become passion's a wonderful thing, but passion unchecked and toxic is rage, is wrath, is destructive. Now, I will say, as destructive as a volcano is, I say this every time with this card, volcanic ash is one of the most mineral-rich substances on planet Earth. All of those minerals, all of that wealth beneath the surface, building over time, pressure, molten, explodes, right? And it goes from, well, essentially the state of water. I know it's not technically water, it's lava, right? Up into the air, burns and becomes ash, earth again, fertilizing the ground. And that's why the volcanic islands have such amazing foliage and fruits and the pineapples of Hawaii and, you know, all that stuff. So this could be very creative for you. There's a way, I'm sure, to work this tension, this power, this explosion, to channel it. And remember, we're Virgos. So, you know, we're the Hermit card. We can, it doesn't mean you have to go totally covert or sneaky or any of that, but there is a way of channeling this, putting compassion into action. But I have to wonder, are you being compassionate with yourself? Taking this conflict, bringing it into prayer, bring it into meditation, inner child work, emotional healing work, whatever it is. Virgos, we are the servants of the zodiac, but we must serve ourselves. We have to. Otherwise, we become spiteful and bitter and critical in the not fun way. I'm sure you know to which I am referring. Ask the people you live with or work with. They'll tell you, oh yeah. Yeah. When your nervous system is inflamed, and let's say we've got 3 fire cards here, your nervous system may very well be inflamed, overworked, angry, rageful, depressed, hopeless, or apathetic. There's something worse than an apathetic Virgo, because we will dissect exactly what's to be apathetic about and why we are. You got the Sagittarius card, honey. This is 9th house. This is Zeus energy. This is mutable fire. The Kaliach. No, not the Kaliach. Sorry. Cerridwen. I've heard that name said 10 billion different ways. Celts. Goddess of transformation, of the cauldron. Definitely a goddess of fire here. Stirring the cauldron of transformation. That's funny. She's got a sow or a pig on the cauldron. I'm like a little touch of Circe going on there. Circe by Madeline Miller is worth the time. It's really good, and I hear HBO Max is working on to make it a movie or a miniseries or something. I'm so down for that. Sort of like Vampire Diaries in ancient Greek. But anyway, moving along. Yeah, I keep my finger on the pulses of these things when they come my way. Great book. But with that mother archetype, you are fired up. There is inspiration here. Sagittarius is a very inspiring card. It's Jupiter ruled, the planet of expansion. Not so much seeing outside the box like an Aquarius would, but definitely gets that fired up. I want to do that, and I want to do that, and I want to do that, and I want to do that. Now, with nurturance, patience, unconditional love, and joy in giving birth to life, this could really set somebody up on starting their own thing, right? In terms of your vocation, right? Of really saying, I'm going to go out on my own. I'm a Sagittarius. Try and stop me, right? That energy. Really feeling a lot of inspiration here, and that's the, if you like, really part of this fire, that you're fired up. Like, if this is about being an advocate, like if that's really what your heart is into, it's like, no, I am the Lorax, I speak for the trees, I'm a past life dryad, baby. Whoo, do not cut down trees in front of me. I got all sorts of antsy and angry, and I feel that here. I feel just like, how dare they, right? It's like, I joke with those words, how dare you. I try and use it as diffusively as I can, because if the words how dare you actually come out of my mouth and I mean it, duck and cover my eyes. I was Phoebe, Prue, Piper, and Paige ain't got nothing on me when I am pissed off, but that's not a good thing, right? And that's the thing. It feels like you're pissed off. You've got, like, in your work, conflict, right? 4 blades there, 2 arrows, but only 1 dragon feeding the fire to both sides. Very interesting. What is the heart of the matter of this conflict? Involving, really, a divine family archetype. Interesting. The Advocate with Pele, the volcano. Oh, you just be careful of the negative cause thing. Like, don't burn down the house, babe. And that Mother with Sagittarius. I mean, that really feels like wanting to expand that unconditional love and that nurturance. And maybe there is an inspiration here for you to do your own gig. That's the thing. If it's really your work is really in conflict right now and you've got this passion to move forward, this could set itself up for self-employment or, you know, starting an organization, working with other people. I'll say one thing. I was part of a non-for-profit for years, sat on the board of the Silver Broom Ministries as the secretary, and again, when they say not-for-profit, I didn't get paid. When I got paid like in candles and jewelry, I would take it and be like, you want this? Yeah, I'll take it. You know, but it was very fulfilling, and let's move on. Enough about me. Let's talk about us. Breathe. Mythic Tarot. My gods of Earth. And the sign of Virgo. Please, what does this look like on the outside? Either the situation that's going on here, linking these together, or how the Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus Sun watching this video, receiving this reading appears. Can be both, too, as well, simultaneously. Can be holographic. Please, in their work, shown with the soul power of the monk nun in alchemy, with the Four of Flames, conflict, Four of Wands, conflict, and we usually see that in the 5, but you got the 5 too there as well, I should say. What does this look like in the outside? Lower 3 chakras, physical world, root, sacrum, solar plexus. Just leave the card in my hand, please. For their career with the Advocate archetype and Pele, the volcano. It feels so passionate, but possibly so violent. And that Mother archetype there in their crown, in their 8th chakra, right? The star center, the soul center, the upper room. A Mother archetype, that unconditional love with the Sagittarius, like they're feeling fired up, notching their flaming arrows, ready to go out there, inspired, hopefully. What does that look like on the outside? Let's look. 1, 2, 3. Well, I remember what I said about self-employment. We'll get there, but it looks like that might be part of your situation. Here, look, 7 of Cups with the monk nun and the conflict. You have options and choices, but finally some water here. It's the only water card in the deck. All of the other elements here are fire or major arcana. We will get to those. You really have to look beyond the illusions of what you think, more into what do I feel here, because that Advocate archetype, I'm telling you, with the monk nun, you're not going to be happy isolating yourself from the world. There's too much fire here. There's too much action, too much will that wants to express itself. Unconditional compassion, right? Let's say nurturance, patience, unconditional love in the 8th chakra, putting compassion into action in the heart, third eye crown. You're really not, I mean, I don't want to get into Judgment Day and all that, but what is the Judgment card? It's a realization. It's a final decision, if you will, a final judgment on something and saying, that's it. That's it. This is it. And then you complete with the cycle of the Major Arcana with the World or the Universe card, depending on which deck you're using. Same idea. So you're in this place. Absolutely. Look at your options, but feel them out. And if you are in conflict over those options, go for the one that you can really feel devoted to. Remember, selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit. But if there's something funky going on in the organization or something, financially off about it, that's not going to vibe for you. You do have other choices, but it's more of an intuitive thing. And what do you have in your internal world right now? I would say your lower 3 chakras. The one, like, I know when I walk into a place and I just, oh, this feels so nice. That's root chakra, right? But if it's like, get the fuck out of here, I always leave. It's called rat magic. Rats always know when to jump ship, right? And that might be this. That might very well be this. It's like there's a conflict of energy inside of me. What are my other options? But you need to slow it down. Go into prayer. Go into meditation. Use that monk nun's divine archetype power. It's really good. I get what that's like. I do that kind of every day. It's like, well, do I want to put out 10 videos that are meh? Or do I want to put out 3 or 4 that I'm grounded and centered and aligned and I did my breath work and you know what I mean? It's I don't compromise on stuff like that. I'm 52. like DC Comics. The Advocate here with this volcano, Pele, the 5 of Flames. You got the Emperor, you got Zeus. This is what I mean. I think you might be very, very empowered if you can channel this power in a way that you are stabilized in your earth, your air, your fire, the water. The Emperor is the conglomeration or the amalgamation of the 4 kings in the court cards of the major arcana, right? The royals, if you will. Such power here, but be careful what you say. Zeus lightning, man. You cannot be unstruck by lightning. There are certain things that you can say here that if you are inflamed will burn the house down, right? And then that is perhaps embracing a negative cause, or at least dealing with a cause in a way that can feel very negative. You really have to keep an eye on what's your personal gain in this cause. Like, is it financial? I mean, if you're angry about mismanagement about something and you want to take the fucker over, I get it. Boy, do I get it. Sometimes can't help it with mismanagement. But if this is your own gig, we're not just talking about president here, we're talking about chairman. I feel other people helping you with this. And advocacy. Now, I know lots of animal advocates, and certainly social justice advocates, and really advocate in a way is another word for a lawyer. I grew up with them. My parents divorced when I was 2 years old. I grew up in a very litigious environment, which is why I study universal and magical law and natural law, and of course man's written law as well. But there is a law deeper written than what is written on that table. I've been listening to the Chronicles of Narnia on audiobook just for kicks. What's a little Christian metaphor to a witch and a wardrobe? Well, I am. My last name is Lyons, and I am a witch, and I do have a magnificent wardrobe. Fuck. All right, you see what I'm saying? It's like that advocate, that king. It's like you could be the emperor of your own deal, your own career here. And I don't feel like that's an external person. I feel like that's you from the outside looking in. As well. All right, this is the tea. You got the mother archetype with Sagittarius, as we said, that unconditional love, that nurturance, giving birth to new things. Might very well be what this is with that. Yeah, there may be an explosion of Pele, but the fertilizing ash, new things will grow from it. Well, from the 5 to the 6, right? The 6 of Wands, victory. Sagittarius here with the Wheel of Fortune. Honey, this is woven. This is part of fate and destiny. What you are going through with this conflict, I'm telling you from the 8th chakra perspective, written in before you ever incarnated. What you are going through in your work with this conflict and your options that you have, how you want to deal with them, totally written, totally for the highest good of all concerned and to only make you better. Right? This is written and it is inspiring you. It is time. Putting your unconditional love and your inspiration and your desire to see the world. Sagittarius is also very much a card of travel, right? That expansion, expanding the mind. Yes, metaphysics and spirituality and all of that too, but as well as travel. Mutable fire. And a mutable fire, you've got a lot of fire here. All of your tarot internal are fire, and you got 2 major arcana cards. It's almost like this is saying the wheel has turned, my darling. This conflict is to move you out of what you're doing physically and into another option, and one that is more in alignment with what? Your true destiny. Inspiring people perhaps. But I definitely feel expansion and travel here. That's part of the dream, the star. Like, what if the star that we follow is actually our 8th chakra this whole time, right? It's a brilliant metaphor, but what if it's also the truth? To bring that unconditional love, patience, and joy in giving birth to new life. I mean, joy is definitely a Sagittarian word. But it's just time for this. So, you know what? Whatever you've been doing for work that you have conflict in, know that it was a pressure cooker. Now, that sounds horrible unless you're talking a chicken, right? Unless you're talking something that you're trying to infuse with a certain flavor, pardon the cooking metaphor, but that you've been in the crucible in this. And I feel like now you have options. But the options, you may not know what they are right now. Once again, this is the 6th reading, yeah, Virgo. This is the 6th time I think it's happened in this series, where predominantly your power, the go-to is in the 8th chakra, your vocation. Get that in alignment. That's the only trickle down I think that actually works. Sorry if I went fisco-politico there on ya. what do you want? I'm a Virgo, and we're Virgos, and at the end of the day, yes, we want to serve, and we want to bring our spirituality into form, at least our love. We want to do what we love. And if you have that passion to serve, particularly as an advocate, that's a very holy, sacred thing. But that's the thing. Have you been doing it in a holy, sacred way? I think that's what we're conflicted about here, and how to do that in a way where we can navigate through that Seven of Cups, seeing feeling our options, maybe then doing the Eight of Cups, walking away from it to come to that Nine of Cups, that personal wish fulfillment in work. And I wish that for all of us. In fact, may the Virgo Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that we need in our work, career, and vocation, February and March 2021, that we may take that unconditional love and nurturance and serve the world with that, because it's time, and because we have the inspiration and the passion to do so, to bring it down into our career as advocates, perhaps giving voice to those who do not have voices, but certainly putting that compassion into action, channeling that fire within us, that potential for fertility, the desire and action that can come into physical form as the Emperor, as our own stability, our spirit king is able to flow through us, taking action with an action family archetype into the world, where our selfless devotion, our single-minded focus on the spirit of the thing, or spirit itself, the divine, that we are in conflict about, that we can resolve and find our way through, contemplating our options, maybe even just second chakra. How's this feel? How's that feel? How's this feel? How's that feel? And find our way through, so that we can bring our work, career, and vocation into alignment, our life purpose into a single movement. Not everybody gets to do that, but maybe we can here, for our well-being, for the well-being of those we serve, for the well-being of our work, career, and vocation, and certainly for the well-being of all. So may it be. And so it is. It's a hot read. Not the most exciting thing, obviously, but hey, it's very inspiring, and I love that we got the mother in the 8th chakra. That's really cool. So look, if you liked it, like it. You want more, subscribe. If you feel like commenting, please do. You want to share it to a friend, have at it. I can't stop you, and I'd like you to, actually. And if you'd like to come tarot party with me, I am doing them on my Drawing the Circle Productions Facebook page. Monday night, 7:30 p.m., 10 participants only. It is a paid event. It's Zoom format. My new book is coming out. Well, we're shooting for a Virgo full moon launch on Kindle, coming out in Kindle. I'm so excited for that. So yeah, you want something done, give it to someone who's busy. You really want it done well, give it to a Virgo. You want it done in a really powerful, wise, and hopefully loving way, you give it to a Virgo witch who's busy. Thank you, Terry Pratchett. Wishing you all the very best and the very blessed of the work, career, and vocation, my Virgo darlings. Virgo power. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.